course, Hannah. So I'm here in Lufkin, right outside of the federal courtroom, where a lawsuit against SFA is happening. Of the case of the Title IX, now those who aren't familiar, what this means is that, so we're going to backtracking a little bit. So we're going back to May. The university's already out for summer. They're on summer break. They made an announcement that they were cutting their sports programs from the university, and that included men's golf, women's beach volleyball, and as well as the women's bowling team. So today, this lawsuit is against discriminatory against women. Title IX, essentially, in summary, it protects women in universities so they can participate in sports. There has to be an equal amount of opportunities for women in sports. And it varies by university, of course, as you can imagine. Now, today in the courtroom, what I saw was that four former team players, I believe it was mostly volleyball players and one bowling ball player. So they just described, where they were at when they got the notice to get on a virtual remote meeting by athletic administrations from SFA. Very little details what they described before getting onto the meeting. Some were either at work or at their home. Again, remember, they're at summer break already at this point. So they described, they got online remotely, and they were on the call. There was, their teammates, their coaches, and athletic administrators as well on there. They said that they were just told that the athletic department decided, remove these programs from the school. Some of them stated in their testimonies today that they felt it was very brief. They weren't given enough explanation with it. They also expressed, their reactions. A lot of them were just surprise and disbelief and such. When they were including in their testimony, they also say, how it, affected their day to day. Many of them, these sports require them to be up and early in the morning. So it gave them structure is what they said. Also, because of this announcement, I believe SFA, in their announcement, they did say that they were going to provide support for students that were interested to transfer out of the university so they could pursue their academic career along with their athletic career if they continued on. Students were also honored their scholarships that were on scholarship for these sports as well. So these ladies that testified this morning, many of them opted out to transfer due because various reasons. Some of them were already considered seniors at college, so they didn't want, what they expressed is that they didn't want to lose credits if they were to transfer out. That they are very connected with the SFA community or the Nacogdoches community is what they express. So, as of the effects that they endured was pretty much, as I mentioned, lots of structure. They're used to getting up in the morning, getting in those practices, going to tournaments, and all that such. Also, the loss of friendships. Many of their teammates have transferred out of the SFA due to this action that was made by them. Now, was also to note that those that spoke today in their testimony, they did say that they would. So not only would they just continue their academic careers at SFA, they also said that if the court decides to reinstate these programs, that they would continue to compete. So meaning, of course, if this comes out to be, if the court sees, hey, we're bringing these programs back, or that's what should be followed, then they want to stay competing. The defendant did argue that there may be not enough students to fill in those rosters if they were to come back. The plaintiff argued that if the case was that the court just sees that these programs to resume back to SFA, that it could be easily done, or it could be done, not fairly easily, I apologize, but it could be done. Maybe it could make some time. The defendant argued that yes, it could be done, but not as quickly as one would assume. They would have to hire coaches. They would have to make sure there was enough students to fill those rosters. Again, remember, as I mentioned, many of these former players already transferred out of the university. And the ladies that spoke today, many of them were already seniors, and it was just, convenience for them to remain at this university rather than lose credits or move out, whatever the case may be. Now, we're currently on break. They will resume here at 1:30. There are more witnesses to give their testimonies. From what was said earlier, I believe that we will hear from some of the athletic department administrations and also just other experts that are with this familiar with this expertise field.
You went over quite a bit of things, and I'm so happy that you talked about scholarships because that was a big question for me. A lot of these kids, some of the reasons why they picked this school was because of what they were able to offer them. So it's good to hear that they're going to be honoring that scholarship, but also it feels like the seniors are put in the worst position out of everyone because everyone else was able to move and transition and have a little bit of time to kind of navigate their curriculum, so to speak. But yeah, the seniors, it feels like they're put in the worst spot of it all.
Right. Yeah. They express that, not just losing credits, but also just other many things, as they meant, many of them mentioned, they like SFA, they like the community, they like the Nacogdoches community. That's the reason why they chose this university. So again, the expressions and this, the reactions to this news, some of them are still very expressive. Some of them still appear upset over this. And, Title IX, it's, at least for me, I can say it's a little bit complex. I'm not too 100% familiar with it, but essentially, like I mentioned earlier, it does protect women, giving them the rights to participate in the sports at the universities they choose.
Well, it's understandable because that's who was mainly impacted in these decisions. Is they were the most teams that were impacted. They were all female sports rather than the one sport that was the men's golf. But still, I know you said we have a lot more to hear from. You're about to go back in just a few moments to hear more. How long do you think these hearings will go on?
So, as of today, I'm unsure. Possibly until the afternoon, if anything. Now, it is expected that again, this is a preliminary hearing. So, we're just hearing these testimonies. It could run into tomorrow morning. That's tentative as of right now.
Well, thank you so much. It's great to get a perspective on what's being said, what's being highlighted, and again, this is about the students. This is about these athletes who put a lot of hard work into these dreams that they've had, and now it's kind of being taken away from them. Thank you so much,
All right.
Mariella, and I know we'll have more on this later tonight as well.
Yes, we'll have more on tonight. Thanks again, Hannah.
Of course.